Hi, I am Jerry. I am here to talk about the nervous system. I am a Reiki master. I do energy healing. So I do a mix of Reiki. So that would be kind of hands on healing. And then I also do energy healing. So I do acupressure points, I do tapping, I do yoga. So I do positions along with breath work and all fantastic things that actually help us interact with the nervous system. So, the nervous system is something that I talk about a lot with my clients. I have recently started doing some of these YouTube videos. And so, I'm getting a lot of questions more about what the nervous system is and why is it so important. When I started learning about the nervous system, I have to say I was completely shocked. I remember learning about this in high school, but it's been almost like 10, 15, almost kind of 20 years since I've been out of high school. So these aren't things that we see on a daily basis. And to be quite honest, I'll just kind of go off of my tangent really quick. We see 500 advertisements a day. So we're more educated on how products work, I feel, within the United States than we are on our own body. So I wanted to create these videos so we could be educated on how our bodies work and the importance. And nervous system is huge. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. So I just created this I'm going to move my little box over here. So just a quick agenda. It's going to be a kind of a short video, but we're going to do the introduction, the nervous system overview, purpose of the nervous system, overtaxing or overstretching the nervous system. What do our nerves do? A fun little fact about our nervous system, and then the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, so the power of the nervous system. So I don't want to pay for licensing on these things. So I'm using a lot of the free stock images, which they don't have anything for the nervous system. So luckily for me, I just drew this last night. It helps me kind of just, train my brain to where my knowledge is. And then also, I don't mind having to pull out a bit of art. So if this looks a bit hard to look at, this is a diagram I put together. It's just showing, a person, but the main thing I wanted to show you is over here to the side, underneath all of your organs, all of your muscles, is your brain and your spinal cord. Okay, so these are really, really important because they make up your nervous system. So the nervous system is made of, again, the brain, the spinal cord, and the nerves. Yogis believe that maintaining a health of the nervous system is critical for daily function. And I swear it's true, and you will definitely see why. So, every single conscious or unconscious action, like hormone secretion, heart beating, respiratory rate, basically all of those functions are completed by electrical impulses that leave the brain and travel through our nervous system down to either the target cells or the organs within your body. And right now, and I swear, right now, your nervous system is sending thousands of electrical impulses throughout your body. I can't move my hands or talk or think without actually engaging the nervous system. So it is actually looking through your whole body. It's detecting the room temperature. Should we begin to sweat to cool down, or should we shiver? Are we too cold? Do we need to shiver to warm ourselves up? It detects the amount of light in the room. Is it too dark? Does it mean it's nighttime? Maybe I need some melatonin, right? Our bodies have to really figure out what's going on in everyday life. And we really honestly don't pay attention to it. That's how amazing it is that it does all of this. Down to just the sensations and your digestive tract. That's right. It will tell you if you need to eat. So it gives you that signal, that impulse of like, I need to eat something because I'm hungry. Or it'll give you the impulse of, I got to go to the bathroom and I have to get rid of some of my extra waste. So it's fabulous. And I drew this diagram with the spinal cord kind of off to the side with the brain so you could see what it looks like. But this is what it looks like with all of your organs setting on top. And again, all of your organs. So for an example, your heart rate here, it's beating and it's beating right now without me even having to tell it. And that's because my brain is actually sending electrical impulses down to each one of these organs. So again, it is a very important system because you cannot function without having a good nervous system. And if your nervous system is overtaxed, like I will give my personal example, I was having an overtax of the nervous system last year. And again, stimulants from, let's be honest, Wi-Fi, right? Right now I'm sitting in front of a computer. I'm an electromagnetic being, which means that I have electrical impulses, right? That's what we're talking about. So Wi-Fi, the lights that I have on right now, my cell phone, all chemicals within stuff, all of these things impact our nervous system. So it can get overtaxed. And we'll talk about it a little bit later, but you can definitely tell when your nervous system is overtaxed because you can't really function in any stress. So if you notice that you have the least bit of a stressful situation and it's triggering you, maybe you're getting mad, maybe you're getting sad. If it's triggering emotions, it's because you're not resilient at the moment and you're overtaxing it and it cannot take any more stimuli. Okay, what does the nervous system do? So here's my beautiful drawing again. You get to continue to enjoy it. The body's nervous system, it's really like the communication network, right? We're really telling how our body should operate. It is our command center up here. It sends those electrical impulses, again, messages, information. We will talk about this more, but I mean, even down to the physics standpoint, energy is just information, right? It's just how it chooses to express. So it's really awesome. Energy, these electrical impulses are just forms of energy, and they're traveling from your brain down to the rest of your body, including out to your internal organs. It's responsible for everyday activities. Again, I can't move my hands up and down. I can't talk. I can't communicate with you without having a nervous system. It wakes us up every day. It helps us breathe, move, think, learn, memory. So anybody who thinks that they have some learning problems, thinking problems, or memory problems, they're not problems. Your nervous system is most likely overtaxed, and we just need to fix that. And we can actually improve the way we think, breathe, learn, memory, wake up every day. It's incredible once you start to get this system in good working order and functioning. A little side note towards the bottom, the nervous system responds to both internal and external stimuli. So, excuse me. So in the instance of the digestive tract, say that you ate something that kind of upset your stomach, getting a little crampy, that signal is sent back up, right? So we're not just sending signals down, signals are being sent back up. So this would be an example of something coming in internal. Something internally in me is not working. We need to make note of that. A lot of times we're really, really busy, so we kind of ignore those things, but it's time that we get back into our body because that's how we actually can start to empower ourselves to take ownership of our health. So external, so these are the ones that I kind of talked about a little bit earlier. So our light right now, right? Light is an external factor that my brain is interacting with. It's getting information. So you can see right now, I'm not in a really dark place, so I'm not going to be secreting melatonin. However, if I wanted to kind of trick my brain into secreting some melatonin, I could turn off all the lights. I could make it really, really dark in here. For I don't know if a lot of people know this, but like cortisol, we always talk about cortisol, right? It's a hormone, and we talk about how bad it is. It can make us fat. It comes from stress, but it actually is also responsible for waking us up. So it's really incredible to see what the body does, right? Because we need to have really good levels of all the hormones in our bodies. It just depends on your makeup. Okay. How do we overtax or overstretch the nervous system and what happens? Okay. So overtaxing or overstretching the nervous system. So I just want to say, remember the nervous system is our command center. So it has three main components: the brain, the spinal cord, and the nerves. Okay. So the nervous system can be overtaxed when we're overloading our system. So this can come with stress, anxiety, poor food, lack of movement, general practices that can fry the system. Okay. So, a lot of times we in our society try to be busy constantly, right? People almost judge you sometimes, especially I used to work in corporate America. So productivity was a big thing. So anytime they'd be like, oh, well, you've been took a long lunch, didn't you? Or, just fun little things like that. But it adds to your stress, right? We are having to be on the go all the time. And then we have these external things like the Wi-Fi signals moving through us, lights, these unnatural things that we've created as human beings that are taxing our nervous system. Again, for food. So when you eat, so you probably, if you've watched any of my other YouTube videos or read my blogs, you probably have heard me talk about poor diet. So there are pesticides in some of the fruits and vegetables, even in the wheat products. So even in the products that you may buy on the shelf, those have trace levels of pesticides. And pesticides are actually created to attack the nervous system of bugs. Okay. So for me, what I always explain to my clients is like, I unfortunately have done tons of research. I don't know how much is considered too much on the human body, but to be quite honest, I'm gonna take a venture to say for my body, I have too much I had too much stuff in my system as far as food, as far as Wi-Fi and all these external things. I was on a computer constantly, so it was really frying out my system. But food is extremely important. So make sure that you look at the foods that you're eating. And again, bugs are kind of small, but we're creating super bugs now. So just imagine how many bugs it would take to kill that nervous system, and then just think about how many crackers, cookies, and everything else that you've been buying from the store that have those kind of things and how long it's going to take. It's going to affect our nervous system. Also, let me just stay right here because I don't want anybody to get confused. I am not a medical doctor. I am giving you my personal experience. I am giving you my research. Our bodies are all different. And unfortunately, I did learn that medical doctors only get 0 to 11 hours of training on food education. So a lot of our diseases like diabetes, heart disease, strokes, overweight, all of those things can come from the poor food. And unfortunately, our doctors are, unless they take the additional steps, the average doctor is not abreast on these types of things and how they affect your nervous system. So it's very important to know this because when you go to the doctor, you need to be able to share where you are here because this will help and this is an integral piece of information. Okay, so not a medical doctor, not giving you medical diagnosing. Please continue to work with your doctor. I am only here to really get you back on track to being healthy and well and giving you tips on how to maintain that. Okay. So overthinking, okay, right? We have 60, I will talk about this a little bit later, but we about 60,000 thoughts in a day. Okay, that's a lot for our little brains to process. And on top of that, our brains have created this kind of like autopilot mode. And this allows us to do menial tasks, say for example, washing the dishes. I can wash the dishes and think at the same time. I could even dictate something to my husband. I'm a really good, what I think, multitasker, right? But let's be honest, we're not really built to be multitaskers. My goodness, we're really meant to be focusing on one item. That's why we get a little bit lost or overwhelmed, and we can start taxing that brain part. So it's really important to know that overthinking or stressing can actually stress out your nervous system. And I don't know about you, but I do a lot with my neurovascular hold points, which are right here on the head. And sometimes if I have been overthinking, overstressing, or taxing my nervous system, I can actually feel the heat. Like sometimes I don't even have to go in that hard. I can feel the heat generating because I can tell I'm overtaxing it, right? Sometimes we don't even have to go to a medical doctor. We can feel ourselves that something is going on. Okay. And also you can damage the nerves, or poor posture can affect this. So your spinal cord goes into a little hole in your brain. It's like that big. It's right about here towards the back of your head. They call it in Chinese medicine the power point. And that nerve, it's called the vagal nerve. It comes out the back side of your head down through here, and then it comes out the front side of your body, and then it gives all of your tissues, your organs, your muscles, all of that yumminess. I apologize. I live in Chicago, so if you can hear the fire truck right now, please ignore it. It's been kind of a little bit of a crazy day with all of the rain. So yeah, so posture can also affect your nervous system. Okay. What do our nerves do? So they travel from, again, our brain, and they're going to travel out of our skull, down the back through the neck to the front of the body. And they attach and connect to each muscle, each gland, and each organ. And they monitor and affect the processes within the body. So they're very, very important. And again, you have nerves that run all the way down your hands. You can go back to the drawing I did. And then you have nerves that go all the way down through your organs, all the way down to the tips of your feet. So electrical pulses just everywhere through your body. You can imagine why I love energy healing. We really focus on the energies, including your thoughts. Your thoughts are energy. So that's a little different than how most of the Western medical community looks at things. They look at more of diagnostic. I do not look at things as diagnostic. I just look at how we've trained our bodies to react, and how we've trained our bodies to do things, and figuring out if those things are serving us, and if not, how we fix those. So we'll transmute those. Okay. Fun fact, so we kind of already covered this, but I'm going to go over it again because it's extremely important for us to understand. The average person has 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts per day. You, as a human, or let me just use myself, are only consciously aware of 6,000 of those thoughts. When somebody first told me this, I was blown away. Okay. So when I grew up, I heard that we only use 10% of our brain, and a lot of people kept telling me that that was not true. And there was a lot of just like misinformation about it. So what I did find out is that we don't use just 10% of our brain. We actually use the whole brain. We have 3 different compartments of the brain. We use all of it. But what that was basically saying is that we have an autopilot that takes on our responses and how we do everyday life. And that is on autopilot. And our brain only makes us consciously aware of 6,000 of those thoughts. And a lot of times those are thoughts that we are bringing to the forefront of our brain. So our brain is tricky, right? It likes to do everything on its own. It's been kind of like, we've got the method figured out. You go do something else. We really want to start tapping back into it, because even though it's great for hormones, like I don't want to have to think about, how my heart beats or breathing, or how the hormone distribution is happening. These things are very intelligent and complex, so we need that subconscious brain to be helping us with it. But it's very important to know that we are very much so not aware of how we are reacting and moving throughout our entire day. And even I'm going to be honest with you, it almost took me a whole year to really figure this out. And even the clients I work with, it almost takes them about a year to really be like, I know what you're talking about now. Like, okay, I get it. I thought I was like present. I thought I was doing everything because all the words were coming out of my mouth, but I didn't realize why they were coming out of my mouth. Right. I didn't realize why I had chosen that response. And that's because your adaptive subconscious has learned how you like to do things, and it'll just kind of do it on your own. So let me just also state the adaptive subconscious. So this is coming out of Auburn University, and I included it in my hormonal blog post. So if you want to check that out, there's more information on it. But this is the word that they coined for the act of your subconscious making judgments and decisions on your behalf without informing your conscious mind, Right. So that's exactly what we just talked about. That is very important. So again, if you ever walked into a room and have absolutely no idea why you're there, that is because you're on autopilot. I know this is a more dangerous one, but I have heard of this. Have you ever, gone through a stop sign or a stoplight and go, oh goodness, I hope I really did stop. I wasn't even paying attention. I was thinking, right? See, we think we're great multitaskers, right? But unfortunately, our conscious brains are really only able to think about one thing at a time. Our subconscious brain is a lot more evolved. It can do a lot more multitasking than we can. So it's good to kind of look at your conscious brain and being able to stop the autopilot. Stop the autopilot. Let's talk. Do we react the right way? So for me, I would get frustrated and maybe just kind of like, for a lack of a better term, like a little witchy sometimes, with the B word, or I like how my husband always says it's not really that. It's more of me having my passion. So sometimes I can get very passionate about things and I can get a little bit frustrated. So that is all ways that I can tell if my nervous system is overtaxed, because if I'm getting frustrated and I'm not able to really make decisions, I need to work with my nervous system. I need to slow it down. Okay. So let me just move this over here again. Sorry if you guys can see this little box, but I just got to move it over. Okay. So the sympathetic versus parasympathetic. So your autonomic nervous system keeps your body running without having to remember how to breathe, digest, or keeping your heart beating. So it'll keep your heart beating. Triggered by everyday actions, stress, or relaxation. So whether you're running from a predator, a toxic boss, or a critical family member, it can be triggered easily. Okay. And let me just say this, because a lot of people don't realize the impact of this. Your body doesn't know the difference between reality and non-reality. So let me give you a good example of this. Have you ever watched a scary movie and you've just been like, oh, you feel it, your heart is racing, you're getting sweaty, you're triggering your sympathetic nervous system. So when we say that it doesn't know the difference between reality and non-reality would be the movies, right? So we have to watch what we are actually exposing ourselves to, because even hearing somebody who's watching like a horror film right here can have an impact on your nervous system, even if you're not interacting with it. So it's very, very, very important system. I really can't stress that enough. Okay, so your sympathetic nervous system is known as the stress and sweat, the gas pedal, the fight, freeze, and fawn response. So this is like your crisis management team. It dilates your pupils so you can take in better light, assessing the situation. It makes your heart beat faster. It deepens your breath and quickens, and it releases glucose for a quick getaway. This is all things to make us on high alert. Unfortunately, if we're just sitting at, I'm going to take for an example, social anxiety. I used to have some social anxiety. So like a waitress would come over and ask me what I wanted. And I would almost just like all of a sudden have like anxiety, and I could feel like my breath getting quicker, and I could feel like my limbs getting all tingly. That's the glucose and the adrenaline, right? Your limbs get all tingly. And then I would be taking in a lot more light, and it's a lot more information, which would absolutely panic me, right? I'm a sensitive person. So when we're taking in additional, when we're already stressed, this triggers anxiety attacks. This can trigger your depression. This can trigger a lot of things and affect your immune system. So, but by knowing what's happening, by knowing your hands are getting tingly because of the glucose and because of the adrenaline, understanding that your pupils are dilated, you can start to actually have understanding for yourself, start to shut that down, and use tools to help you with your nervous system. There are a lot of tools out there. There's actually a tool that we can use if you book an appointment with me. It takes 1 minute. I can figure out if you're in the sympathetic or parasympathetic, and we can very easily work on getting you out of it. Again, it takes time, but we're going to train that brain of yours, and we're going to train it to be able to either get in and out of this. We'll talk more about that. Okay. Parasympathetic. So this is our paradise, the brake pedal, rest and digest, or what they called feed and breathe. So it's the nourishing and relaxation system. It supports relaxation. It's slowing and softening of your breath, stimulates digestion, cell rejuvenation. So again, a lot of cell rejuvenation cannot happen in the sympathetic nervous system. So if you're taxing yourself, you're going to get stress, right? We get frown lines, we get a lot of things. You're not allowing your cells to rejuvenate. And then, of course, sexual arousal. If you think about it, I can't, honey, I'm too stressed, right? When we're stressed, we don't want to enjoy sex. And when we're in more of the parasympathetic nervous system, we can actually enjoy that and have more sexual arousal. So, again, nervous system is really, really important for our overall health. So a little note down here, yoga postures or moves are used to actually stimulate the response. So with Kundalini yoga, sometimes we'll do like arm flapping movements. And this is actually to quicken our heart rate, to stimulate that sympathetic nervous system. We want to, we'll do breath of fire, which, as you can imagine, it's like dragon's breath, right? We are really quickening that nervous system. We are trying to stimulate what happens when we get stressed. Why? Because I'm going to show you how you can very easily calm your nervous system down with your breath. It's just slowing it down and using the right tools. And when we start to do this, we're training the nervous system. And when you start to train the nervous system to slow down, you can actually face, threats, triggers, or stressful situations a lot calmer. And that's exactly what we want, is because yoga, we're really trying to train you to be calm in chaos, calm in chaos. So it's very, very important. I think this might have been my last slide. Yes. Okay. This is the last slide. So thank you so much, loves, for joining me. Definitely please subscribe to my channel. You will be able to get updates of when I put out new videos. Please hit the like button if it helped you, and go out to my website, www.energeticturtle.org. I have a blog post so you can learn a little bit more through that. I also upload my videos, and you can book an appointment and learn more about who I am from the website. So thank you so much. You have a wonderful day, and I appreciate you guys for watching this video.